Sprint the 400 is one of my favorite topics. It is the most counterintuitive thing about Feed the Cats. It does not make sense. Now, I got to start with the fact that Feed the Cats teams will prioritize the 4x1, but prioritize does not mean at the exclusion of everything else. But the 4x1 is our pissing contest among Feed the Cat schools. Illinois #1 last 10 years, average best time, freaking Homewood, Flossmoor, Corpus. They Feed the Cats. #2 last 10 years, Edwardsville, Chad the Coddles, my son Alec, they Feed the Cats. #3, my team. So the top 3 teams are all 3 Feed the Cats teams, and that's 4x1. When you build your team around speed, you usually have a pretty good team. Because speed is probably the KPI of 14 of the 18 events. I mean, speed is really important. The 18-year average at Plainfield North is 42.39. Now, Texas will laugh at this, but screw them because they wouldn't run that fast up here. We don't have enough sunshine to run super fast. But that's a pretty good 18-year average, and I'm very proud of that. Remember, priorities does not mean at the exclusion of all other things. So the 400-meter dash is a sprint, and you have to just say that over and over again. It's a sprint. And I love Clyde Hart and all that stuff, but it's really important to draw differences, compare and contrast. Clyde Hart dominated the coaching scene forever. And I think I think it to the detriment of high school sports. I think this is an important tweet. This guy actually, Troy, this guy actually answered me on YouTube the other day. I didn't know as a real person. But anyway, BJ said, Monday I hate track, Tuesday I hate track, Wednesday I hate track, Thursday I hate track, Friday I hate track. On meet day, I love track. Sunday I'm sore, I hate track. And it got 934 likes and like millions of views, and people say, yeah, because it's funny. No, it's because it's true. It's true. That's why it got all those retweets and all that stuff. It's true. That was my track experience. Now, there's probably some high jumpers in here that say, oh, well, track doesn't suck. Yeah, because you're a high jumper. I mean, I had to run the 4x4 and the 400, and yeah. Norman Dale and Hoosier said, my practices are not designed for your enjoyment, and that's the way we were all brought up. So Clyde Hart nearly ruined high school track and field. Oh, that pisses some people off when I say that, but bear with me. High school coaches copied his program. We are copycats, right? We're imitators. That's what we do best as humans. We imitate, we copy. If you're hanging around people that are criminals, it's hard not to be a criminal. We imitate whatever's around us. Especially these cross-country coaches. They love this guy because his fall looked like cross-country practice. That's what his fall looked like. They had huge volumes in the fall, and then supposedly they went long to short. Then no, they didn't. They went long to medium. They never sprinted in the spring. They did not sprint at full speed, ever. They believed in outworking the competition, and they did. They outworked everybody. My coach said, you're going to call us the Dragons because I'm going to run you to your ass's dragon. He kind of said it with a wink and a smile, but he was pretty serious. I mean, he just ran the hell out of us. And it's really a lazy way to coach if you think about it, where you run a 200 and then you walk a half, and then you walk a 200. The coach doesn't have to move. They just come right back around to you. Just keep them running laps. This really changed my life in 1990, around 99. My son Alec, who could dunk a basketball in the 8th grade, said, Dad, track sucks. I'm going to play baseball. I was like, you live with me, like I'm the track coach. He goes, no, it sucks. I go, well, what if we stopped running? What if we just sprinted and jumped? He goes, yeah, right. I go, no, I'm serious. I'm like, I totally sold out. I wanted Alec, and I thought there's probably a lot of other cats out there that probably didn't run track because we just ran all the time. So that's how it kind of came about. You never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, you build a new model that makes the old model obsolete. I think Feed the Cats is that. It is a counterintuitive, like, oh, you can go Clyde Hart. And then the opposite is, oh, you could go Feed the Cats. Clyde said that the 400-meter dash is an endurance sprint incorporating the speed of a sprinter and the endurance of a half-miler. I 100% disagree. I think the 800 is that hybrid. I think the 800 is the one that makes you think. The best way, okay, here's how you create great 800 guys. Have a great cross-country coach, a great cross-country program, have them run cross-country from June to November, and then put the fastest 4 guys in the 4x4. The speed of the 400 and the endurance of cross-country creates really good 800 guys. That's not a good way to make 400 guys. So Clyde, 8 workouts with speed endurance, tempo endurance, strength endurance, endurance running. That's like 4 E words. Like 50% of it is endurance. I don't even say endurance. I say capacity. I don't say endurance. I love what Kula does. He says we're going to get aerobically fit by stacking together anaerobic work. That's kind of what we do. We do 0 aerobic focused work with our sprinters. 0. We never run a lap. We never do a cool down. We never run more than 200 in practice. So here's, if you don't know Clyde, and by the way, I respect Clyde, and I sat in the first row and took notes when he spoke in Ames, Iowa 14 years ago or something. I didn't agree with any of it, but I took the notes. But basically his program had no sprinting, no max velocity, no faster than race pace running. That's the way I was trained. Not one time would I ever get timed in a 40 or a 50 or a 10 or never. We just ran. I don't think you can get fast by running slow, but I guess if you recruit guys that run 46s and 47s in high school, maybe you can just work them to death and everything works out great. In a typical mid-April week, his 400 runners would run 23 miles of running. 23. I don't know if my guys run a mile in a week. But you can see why cross-country coaches would be like, Clyde's the god. If athletes do their encouraged weekend runs, or the Sunday runs actually, they had no days off. They work 7 days a week. My work week is 4. So this is just compare and contrast. Cats don't like to run, but they do love to sprint and they do love to compete. I like cats, kind of. If I was wanting to be a happy coach, I would probably coach distance guys. It's like coaching the family dog. Those kids are just great. Like, okay, go run 3 miles. Okay, coach, and then what? Cats are like, have you ever take a cat on a jog with you? I mean, they'll just lay down. You'll drag them the whole way. So how was he successful if he did everything wrong? Well, he had incredible charisma. Have you had coaches that maybe did things wrong, but you'd still take a bullet for them or run through a brick wall for them? Of course. And that was his power. I think most good coaches have that charisma stuff. Charisma means the gift. I think there was tradition and culture at Baylor. I truly believe that winning begets winning. That an object in motion continues at the same speed in the same direction unless acted upon by an outside force. So if you get the ball rolling downhill at Baylor, it tends to keep rolling downhill. They recruited really fast guys. Really fast. I can't recruit. All my guys live in my neighborhood. And I keep saying this, and I think it's really true, that you got to be careful copying legendary coaches because they have legendary advantages. So now there's some things I really agree with Clyde on. He said the main reason we are seeing more of the sprinter type succeed in the 400 is largely due to the fact, let's just make it easy here, that's easier to create endurance than to create speed. That's what he's saying. So it's really hard to take a miler and get him to run a 46. But if you take a guy that runs a 10.2, 46, baby. It's really hard to coach speed. You can get it done. It just grows like a tree, though. It doesn't happen fast. The conventional wisdom is that without a good aerobic base, the athlete will struggle to recover and blah, 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 and I just reject it. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that you can do performance level stuff without an aerobic focus and still get aerobically fit enough to do the 400. There are a lot of coaches that say, well, coach, we don't have cats at my school, so we just got to run a lot. And I think that's a horrible thing because I think we can make any athlete more cat-like. I know that's a fact. Nito o omo wa ito maezu. If you chase two rabbits, you don't catch either one. And I think that's what coaches do when they, endurance day, and then we have a lactate day, and then we have a speed day, and then we have like they're going in every direction. We're more single direction type stuff. Remember to keep guys like this away from your sprinters. You know the type, right? I mean, this is a poster child for distance coaches right here. They'll have them doing fartlek runs. This guy actually has a license plate that says fartlek. That's when you know, I love Andy Dirks. He's like a brother to me. Best distance coach, I think, in the world. But damn, stay away from my sprinters, please. By the way, he's totally bought in to feed the cats. And the reason why I think we got second in the state the last 2 years in cross country is because he created athletic distance kids by sprinting and lifting and doing X Factor stuff. As their warm up or post run stuff, our kids used to be embarrassing looking. Now they look like basketball players. I mean, they look like athletes. I think it's a great thing. Happy and healthy is so important. Happy does not mean goofy happy. Happy means mentally healthy. So really, it's healthy and healthy. So we got to keep the main thing, and of course the main thing is speed. So I started off talking about how the 4x1 is the key to our program. Then I talked a little bit about how Clyde didn't think so. And now it's like, okay, so speed is the key. This is Marcellus. He only ran like 3 400s. But, he ran 48.2, I think. And I guarantee his load was 1/10 the load of these other guys. These other guys in this race, they all work 10 times harder than him. That's kind of like hard work gets us everything. No, it doesn't. No. Performance, talent, training, health, all those things will get us where we want it to be. But this is really important in a feed the cat system. You must talk to your kids all the time about that final 100 of the 400. You got to be honest, say it sucks. But there's nothing we could do that can make it unsuck. Oh, you want to see it running 100 miles a week will make the end feel. It doesn't make it feel. Matter of fact, you'll be worse because you'll be in last place. They go, well, isn't it easy for like the distance guys? Oh no, they get sick just like we do. Because it's a different energy system than they're used to using. It's all anaerobic. I heard a distance coach one time say, yeah, that guy that supposedly ran cross country and ran the Olympics, He became the poster child of every cross-country coach in America. And they say, yeah, you could see, at the end of the race where that aerobic system really kicked in. I'm like, that's not the science, no. It is purely anaerobic. Oh yeah, we're always breathing and Krebs cycle's always going, but it can't keep up with a sprint. So Clyde's right here too. He says the 400 will rely primarily on two anaerobic systems, ATP-PC and the lactic acid systems. Now sometimes I call ATP-PC, I call that alactic anaerobic. Okay, and then the lactate stuff is glycolysis. But the aerobic system really, some people say, well, the 400 is 40% aerobic, so your training should reflect that. Nope. Screw that. Get fast. Now, that anaerobic stuff causes us to feel really awful. Acidosis is real. And so when this happens, it happens sometimes when you get real acidic, you don't want to die. Your brain doesn't want you to die, so it will purge stomach acid to keep you from dropping below 7.35 pH and die. So when guys say, I can't run, the 4x4, I threw up, coach. And I said, no, you're not sick. You're acidic. He's going to be fine in 20 minutes. Now, we learn by stories. I think this is a good story. This is John Hewitt, ran for me at Franklin. When I got to Franklin, I asked how many returning guys on the team, and they said 20. I said, 20? He said, yeah, 8 guys and 12 girls. And I'm like, I don't coach girls. So I got 8 guys. He was one of them. So, he's like the best guy. And he'd run like around a 51 as a sophomore. Good. He looked like a wrestler. He's about 5'7". And so I said, John, what's your sprint times? He goes, Coach, I'm a middle distance guy. I go, no, you're a 400 guy, so you're a sprinter. He goes, well, I don't run the 100 and 200. I go, well, this year you will. So I trained him like a cat. His second meet of the year, early April, junior, he ran 47.99. He started calling himself White Lightning. And he bought a grill, the metal shit that goes in your teeth. And I mean, he started acting the part and everything. But what was awful at the end of the season, he ran like a 40, close to his best time, but he was chasing somebody who was running like a 46. And he got passed at the end by one. So he won the bronze instead of the gold. And his parents didn't speak to me afterwards. I knew there was trouble. So the next year, it was like in January the next year, the dad came to school and said, Coach, John's AAU coach is going to train him this spring. I was like, oh, shit. He says, yeah, he just didn't have enough endurance. Yeah, Jan Pippin believes in the Clyde Hart method of training. And you can imagine, I'm just like choking and oh my God. I said, he ran 47.99 because he ran 11.06 in the 100 and he went 22.02 in the 200. It was, but you can't. So anyway, he still came to practice, but he went to his practice afterwards. And he didn't break 11.5, didn't break 23, and didn't break 50 his senior year. So, I mean, I'm absolutely sure that if he would have trained like a cat again, he would have probably ran 46 high his senior year, but it didn't happen.